Have you ever seen a folk horror found footage film? Yeah, neither have I. And yeah, this is pretty interesting. I'm really excited to talk about this. So you guys should stick around and check out what I'm What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a new folk horror found footage film called Dagr, D-A-G-R, which is Welsh for Dagger. A little history on why I found this film. I just happened to see a trailer, something bouncing around. I know there was a found footage festival recently, so a lot of that hype has been kind of building up on the internet. It's a British found footage film by Matthew Butler-Hart, who is the director of this film and also one of the writers, including Graham Butler and Tori Butler-Hart. There's not that many people in the film. It's a very small, low budget film that is trying to do some pretty unique things with it. So what is it all about, Alex? Let's get to the point, huh? It's essentially about two ladies by the name of Thea and Louise. It's a play on words for Thelma and Louise. These are YouTuber stars who kind of go around causing pranks and stealing things, and they mask their identity while they're doing it. They've amassed a huge following for their channel, and this is essentially their last video that has been taken into police custody as evidence. And you, as the viewer, are here to take that ride with Thea and Louise to see what the hell happened. And let me tell you, there's some occultist, druidic, weird British stuff going on here, folks. When they get to a destination that they're supposed to pull a prank on, things go haywire and the entire house comes alive, and they awaken an occultist, a druidic member of some sort of evil cult. That's just a taste of it. But yeah, it is a very low budget film, so I want you guys to keep your expectations a little low, but what they do in this movie is super ingenious. One of the biggest things that I am a sort of a stickler about is that I have to have a decent acting job. Like, it cannot be so stiff that I just can't get into it. It kind of breaks the ride that I'm on, and I really just don't enjoy it. But this movie, the acting talent that we have in here with Riz Moritz, Ellie Duckles, Tori Butler-Hart, and Matt Barber, who are, acting in this, and they do a pretty fantastic job. Thea and Louise actually do the lion's share of the acting in here, but they come up upon another filmmaker who's sort of shooting a commercial. Both of these groups are meeting at one particular house, and that's when the whole place goes to hell, literally. But yeah, I thought that they did a pretty good job. I didn't think that these were like the annoying YouTubers that you normally see that are like, too in your face. Like, they kind of rode the line a little bit of just trying to be silly and fun, and they were genuinely enjoying what they were doing. They're very charming ladies in this film who didn't annoy me like I was expecting to get from a YouTuber. Everybody's idea of what a YouTuber is pretty fucked up, let me just tell you. Take it from me, okay? I'm just here to try to help you guys find some movies that you never heard about. And Dagr isn't a movie that's been widely talked about. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll reach out to them and ask them if they'll let me see a screener of this. And the director actually obliged, from Fizz and Ginger Films. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, because if you are a found footage fan, this is a pretty unique one. I mean, I've never seen a movie that takes on like old like elder druids and things like that in found footage. Like that's kind of unique. Like we've seen cultists and, you know, Lovecraftian sort of things like Borderlands, which some people reference while talking about this particular movie. Borderlands, aka The Final Prayer, which just came out on Second Sight. Borderlands was dealing with sort of like a Lovecraftian thing with like a supernatural presence. This one is dealing sort of like with that old occultist druids, yeah, like evil druid who is kind of basically haunting the premises of this house, and things go pretty wild and crazy and trippy. It feels like you're kind of stuck in some sort of weird hell. Now, I wasn't scared, but I could see some people maybe feeling that vibe enough to make them feel pretty unsettled, because I definitely can still feel it in my body as I was watching it. And that's a really good sign, because like it kind of amps me up and it makes me feel like awake, like a very edge of the seat kind of feeling, intense. Keep in mind, I'm doing this review at like 2 a.m. So it's pretty early in the morning and I'm wide awake. This isn't like overly gory or overly like practical effects everywhere, but everything that they do all is in camera. I didn't see any CGI. This is a budget film, but they did a really pretty top-notch job on what they were trying to do here. They do have some effects that are going on in the film to kind of obscure some of the weirder things that are happening in the film. Not obscure to the point where you can't see it, but just to give it some sort of style, feel, and ambiance. Throughout the entire film, while I was watching this movie, there are little Easter eggs of mishappenings, almost like they walked into hell long before, and you are sort of seeing the inklings of them being watched, getting preyed on. You do have to tone your expectations down a little bit, because like I said, this is a small budget. You're doing a found footage film that is actually creating some atmosphere. Like I actually felt some pretty good atmosphere. It got me buzzing, and that's a huge deal for me in a found footage movie as well. Acting and found footage, like atmosphere, is a must, and it's not easy to do. Like try it sometime, see if you can come up with it. Some people are really good at just sort of doing slight things, some are not, but this movie seems to handle it fairly decently. And it's not the best atmosphere I've ever felt in a found footage, but it definitely had more to me than say something like The Frogman, which I actually kind of liked but wasn't over the moon about. And this is just slightly above that in the category of like atmosphere. It's a different brand, you know. This one's going for a lot more atmospheric. The other one's kind of taking a really weird idea and kind of trying to make it serious. So, and they pulled it off. But this one does too, in a way, by doing very simple things that really make a big impact on the viewer. There are some really cool ways that they pass the camera, because there are cameras all around here. There's even an 8mm film camera that's in the film, and they use that, which is really unique. Just the fact that it's a folk horror found footage film is also really cool. The dichotomy of the two things, you know, modern cameras with like folk horror, just, it's kind of wild, you know, when you think about it. But it handled what it had with greatness, I think, and I think it's something that you should check out. It's not my favorite movie this year, but it is definitely something that I think if you're a found footage film fan, you will appreciate the effort that they put into this film. This is a very best case scenario for a low budget film like this to be able to pull something off like this. So you have to give it credit where it's due. May not be your mainstream favorite movies or anything like that, but that's not what this is trying to be. This is trying to do a lot with very little, and it's using the magic of found footage to try to convey that. I think it's worth checking out. It's only $2.99 to rent on Amazon right now. $3 really isn't all that much. I'd say this movie's probably about a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Wasn't blown away by it, but I'm still very impressed with what they did with so little. I wasn't expecting that much, but I was hoping for what I'm feeling right now, if that makes sense. It may be higher on other people's levels than mine, you know what I mean? Like, you may actually like this movie more than I do, because I can be so particular and so picky, where other found footage fans might not be so. But that's just my particular taste, and hopefully you can kind of find a level that makes you interested or not in what I'm talking about. I'm kind of in between the Borderlands, which I liked a whole lot, and Frogman on this one, so it's somewhere in the middle between the two, if that helps you guys figure it out. You know, this is a very independent film. It doesn't get a lot of coverage. Give it some support. You know, indie films are where the heart of horror really lies, and I definitely want to give them more support than I do at the theater, to be honest. Anyway, thank you guys at Fizz and Ginger for letting me check this out across the pond. You guys rock, and guys, check it out for yourself. It's out now for $2.99. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Is this kind of right up your alley? Is folk horror found footage something you never expected? Because I sure as hell wasn't. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hit the like and subscribe button and the little bell notification to let you know when I got some more horror for you guys that you might want to check out. But thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.